Hello, and thank you for watching this ag forecast for the Canadian Prairie. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, I'm going to start with the satellite picture here across the Canadian Prairie, across Western Canada and the Pacific Northwest. And if I made you pick out the jet stream, I'm willing to bet that you could do it. I'm guessing you would draw it right along this corridor here, where you see that band of clouds just racing in from the Pacific across the Rockies and British Columbia and then zigging across the prairie. You can even see the swirl of our trough here across the Hudson Bay down toward the Great Lakes. As we look at the radar picture, pretty quiet this morning, and then temperatures as we look at those across the prairie, a pretty big variation here, and that matches with the forecast that I've been giving you over the next few days. And that is these generally warmer temperatures, but with the high day-to-day variance in those temperatures as some of these little storm systems ride that very, very strong jet stream across the region. So we can look at the radar or the precipitation forecast as we head through the next couple of days. Generally looking at precipitation north of Highway 16, we're going to see a system make its way through here. I'll show you the timing on this one. It makes its way into northern Alberta with some light rain late tonight, more likely into the early morning hours tomorrow. On Thursday, this thing then races across northern Saskatchewan, some snow possible by Thursday afternoon, light snow spreading into northern and central portions of Manitoba by the time we get to Thursday night. And this storm system's out of here. We then start watching this big trough make its way in from the west as we get into the weekend. We'll use the European model to look at that one, but as we head through now, between now and Saturday afternoon, the next 4 days, dry across much of the ag belt with the heavier precipitation, 10 to 30 millimeters possible across northern Alberta, northern Saskatchewan, and then north central portions of Manitoba. And again, some of that in this corridor falling as some light snow. Now, as we look at the jet stream forecast, 500 millibars using the European operational run. Again, here's that very strong jet stream I showed you on the satellite picture. Here's our big trough in the Hudson Bay, extending down toward the Great Lakes with this big wave rotating around the base of it, pivoting that trough off to the east across the Atlantic. What that does is kind of clears out the North American continent. We're going to see a little bit of ridging as we head into the weekend before this big trough comes blasting in across the Pacific into Western Canada and the Pacific Northwest and then dives in across the central U.S. So by the time we get to Monday, we have got this huge trough kind of anchored across, or not anchored, but this huge trough moving across the central U.S., across central Canada. And now the European model wants to take this first wave and kind of cut it off across the midsection of the U.S., just like this, as we get to the end of the coming week. Now, this is a pretty chaotic looking picture as we head through the next 5 to 7 days, but when we talk about precipitation, it doesn't amount to much here in the Canadian Prairie, at least until we get to the back half of the weekend. So again, between now and Saturday, much of the ag belt remaining dry. We get that system that comes through here generally during the day on Thursday, bringing some light snow possibly to this corridor. Then we'll take the drawings off here. We'll keep going. We'll head into Friday. Probably some cooler air coming in on the backside of this system in southern Manitoba on Friday. We take it into Friday night, still dry, although our area of low pressure is beginning to emerge across the Rockies right about in the Calgary area. We should have about a 990, 988 millibar low. It is going to be windy. It may not be producing a whole lot of precipitation on Saturday, but Saturday looks to be a very windy day, especially across Alberta and Saskatchewan. Those strong winds moving into Manitoba as we head into Saturday night and Sunday. So we'll have this big area of low pressure situated across the Canadian Prairie as we head into the weekend. Much of the rain coming in on the backside of this one across Alberta. And then as we get into Monday, this is when we may see some showers and storms developing probably across central and southern Manitoba. The area of low pressure should be in central Manitoba as we get into Monday morning. And then we'll see things clearing out on the backside here. Perhaps some more precipitation as we get into the end of the week, but this is really it. We get mist to the north by the Thursday wave. I'm going to show you this once more now that I've pointed out in detail each system. So Thursday we get some precipitation generally north of the prairie. We're just straight up quiet across central Canada then as we head into Friday and Saturday. Saturday turns very windy. Sunday likely more or less dry until you get into central and western portions of Alberta. And then in eastern portions of the prairie, it's Monday then that we start to kick off the precipitation. And we'll have another chance to talk on Friday morning about some of the specifics there. So Looking at the next 7 days, precipitation forecast in terms of an anomaly, again, the European ensemble on the left, the GFS ensemble on the right, both agree with generally drier conditions across southern Alberta into southern Saskatchewan. Where we get some difference here is the European model wants to be a little more gung-ho with that Monday precipitation, Monday-ish, maybe late Sunday, Monday into early Tuesday, but that big storm system that emerges over the weekend and then moves into Manitoba on Monday. The European operational and ensemble models wanted to produce a little bit more in the way of heavy rain across this area, whereas the GFS not really having it, keeping much of the precipitation north of the Prairie over the next 7 days. So a lot of words. I think I'm running long for what is really a pretty quiet precipitation forecast until at least we get to Monday, and then we don't have agreement yet at what we're looking at on Monday. So let's kick that can down to Friday morning and hope that we've got a little bit more agreement, but knowing that right now it looks like things are probably going to be leaning east with some of that precipitation. Temperatures as we head through the next 4 to 5 days will keep those day-to-day variances a little bit high over the next 3 to 5 days, at least till we get into the weekend. Generally warmer along in south of Highway 16. North of Highway 16 over the next few days could get some cooler temperatures with some of that cloud cover, precipitation, and maybe even some light snow. But then we'll see another push of warm air on Friday and Saturday, maybe even into the day on Sunday. This is in response to those very strong southerly winds that we'll see in advance of the approaching weekend and early week storm system. Temperature is going to be 5 to 10 degrees warmer than average as we head through the weekend, and then likely looking at a cool down, at least a minor one, as we head into the early to mid part of next week on the backside of our big storm system. So the winds, I mentioned those will be a bit blustery. Here are your wind gusts tomorrow, Thursday afternoon, out of the southwest across southern Alberta, out of the southeast across Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and then Friday, quieter winds across Alberta. Should be a pretty pleasant day on Friday across Alberta, and then those winds still a bit blustery out of the northwest across southeastern Saskatchewan and southern Manitoba. The winds really ramp up on Saturday. They'll be blowing anywhere from 20 to 40 knots at times across southern Alberta out of the south. This is warm air coming up out of the south, and then as we look back towards the west, we've got those winds coming out of the west as we head into Sunday. This would be cool air coming in on the backside of our storm system, warm southerly flow out in advance of it. We'll take another look at this as we get into Friday morning's forecast and spell out some of the specifics. So look at those temperatures. Calgary, again, generally warmer but chaotic over the next 4 days. 14 today, 20 for the high tomorrow, 20 again on Saturday with strong southerly winds. Same thing in Edmonton, 18 on Saturday, howling southerly winds. Same thing here in Saskatoon, 22 on Saturday, howling south winds again there. And then Sunday is the warm day in Winnipeg, 21 for the high before cooler air moves in, dropping us back down to the teens as we head into next week. We'll again be having to talk about some freezing temperatures next week as well with those cooler temps move in, but we just simply are getting to the time of year when that would be seasonally appropriate. We'll have another update for you then as we head into Friday morning.